Hi guys, I hope that everybody's doing well. Before we get into the reading, let's set the intention for this to be a space where everyone allows themselves to feel seen and validated, and ultimately for this to be a safe space and a healing space in alignment with everyone's highest good. So there's a notion of like you making progress, calling judgment. There may be something that you've been thinking about. There may be something that you're in a space where you're like, you know what, I want to take time to think about this. I don't want to make a rash decision here. I want to think this through. I want to think this out. For some of you, there's something going on where like you could have been, these could be future plans that didn't happen yet, or even something that you were invited to. For some of you, this is something that you already went to. There could have been a gathering that you had, and you could have felt lonely at this gathering, or kind of feeling like on the outskirts of it. To have the Three of Cups and also the Five of Pentacles come through in the pre-shuffle, this is a feeling like you could have been invited somewhere and been around other people and still felt lonely, even though you were surrounded by other bodies. And you may have felt like a sense of being misunderstood or just not being seen for who you are, feeling like there's a lack of connection in that sense. This can be with a particular group of people, can be a social setting, can be a family thing too. Let's get further and see. I have noticed this be a theme the last couple readings, and it makes sense too, because around the holiday times, I mean, statistically, people generally feel lonelier than normal. Can feel. I'm seeing you walking away from something, but more importantly, you're walking towards something that is important for you, and it looks like there's a big decision that's connected with this. You are on a venture right now to find more of a sense of fulfillment, more of a sense of satisfaction. So rather than the aim or the focus, see, if the Eight of Cups comes up after a couple cards have been pulled out, there's a sense of leaving something behind. To have us begin with the Eight of Cups, this means that there is a search that may feel unfulfilled at this point to find more of a sense of fulfillment. This feeling that has not been completely satiated or even realized. And I'm seeing a big decision be connected with this. Connected with what you're looking for, where you're going, what you're doing. I'm seeing notions of an ascension here as well. Neptune. We have Pluto and Neptune next to one another here. There may be an emphasis of on the archetype of Pisces and Scorpio within your chart. Can be. We all have Pluto and Neptune. Zooming out is definitely going to be helpful. I'm seeing this be connected with relationships that you have. Relationships that you kind of feel have been even cemented in a way. In the broader sense of this conversation, I'm seeing there be a focus on harmony in general, and you creating that within your relationships. However, with Neptune here, this means that shifting our perspective or zooming out, seeing above, whatever it is that you call it, is going to be helpful when it comes to you creating this. So it's not just about the action that needs to be taken, it's also about the perspective. How you're seeing things, how you're framing things, all of that. Your standpoint, I'm hearing. You may feel like you don't have the ingredients to make what you want to make. I'm seeing a cook in the kitchen that feels like nothing that they need for this recipe that they want to make is available to them. But there may be a more creative way that you can do this. You may also have your sights set on some big goals too that feel like they're hard to reach. The way I'm seeing this be, with the Five of Pentacles and also the Ten of Pentacles, if you are giving yourself like such huge goals where you're not having like mile markers of getting to there, it may be a bit daunting, maybe discouraging as well. However, if you can set goals, even smaller goals for yourself, it is going to encourage you and inform you along the way, and that will be helpful to you. Because I'm seeing like something very big and something very bright that you are desiring to cultivate within your life and have within your life and be able to also hold on to. And there's this sense of feeling like every time I get these things, they slip through my hands. And what am I supposed to do about that? Like, why does that also keep happening? And if I find stability, is it something that I'm able to maintain as well? I'm seeing that be a big question here. And whether this be like you feel like you have done things or it's kind of beyond your control, the notion is this all going back to this like even belief where you feel like you can't have these particular things that you want, feel like they're unavailable, inaccessible. Feeling even like you're having a hard time being a conduit for what it is that you want to be a conduit for, of. There's definitely a sign of a mark of struggling with stability, whether these be like finances, it can be any resources. It can also talk about stability within your relationships, but in an overall sense, there's a notion here that you may not have as much of what you want to be working with right now at your disposal, or at least feeling that way. And for some of you, it can definitely be a financial thing. Yeah, here's the Tower. I was just waiting for the Tower to pop out. There's something here about needing to be... Okay. I was seeing the Strength card on the bottom of the deck. Strength card represents Leo. So I'm looking at Pluto, which is Scorpio energy. I'm looking at Neptune, which is Pisces. We're looking at Mercury. We are looking at Mars, and I have the moon here connected with this. Whatever this Tower is, you see this coming from a mile away. The Tower talks about a surprise. It speaks about something even crumbling that you had been trying to work with. But I'm seeing this is going to be helpful to you. There may be something that before you do it, you're like, I have a feeling that maybe I should avoid that. That is going to be helpful to you. We're going to get further and see what exactly is going on here. I'm seeing there be a connection here as well. I'm hearing a swing in connected with your intuitive abilities. I'm seeing strong intuitive abilities here. Your intuition is going to be your best friend. Because you may even be surprised. I'm seeing something happen where it feels... I am hearing out of the blue. That can be represented by the Tower card. Something happens and you knew this deeply within you. There was a sense of you being connected to this. It could have even been something that you foresaw prior to it happening. And if this is a situation that maybe you would like to avoid that particular outcome, that is why you get the insight. But this may be a situation that's going to be important because you kind of see something happening before it happens. And if this Tower is unavoidable, meaning it happens and you feel like, oh, I couldn't really do anything about that. It seems like next time around, you are going to recognize that point prior to the tower happening and being like, oh, that was my intuition telling me that I needed to like veer off in this direction and not keep going here. And so I'm seeing this be something that you're going to remember. So either way, this is a situation that is going to benefit you, even if it feels difficult as it is taking place. Because it may feel like something kind of like slips out of your grasp and then falls completely out of your hands. For some of you, if you've gotten to this point already. So there's now this knowing that you're carrying with you. I'm seeing you move through something very quickly. It seems like something clicks with you, or something was like verified or validated even, and then I'm seeing something happening very, very quickly for you. This may even feel like a sudden shock. For some of you, this is a spontaneous awakening that you're having, I'm seeing, but it may have seemed very unrelated to the events that you were experiencing. Like, how does this thing then connect with a spiritual awakening for me? I'm seeing something like this here. I'm seeing this also give you a direct line, a connection to spirit as well. I'm seeing the High Priestess actually going towards the Hierophant in a way where there's a merge happening. In tarot, the High Priestess and the Hierophant are counterparts. So there's a sense of this creating something 360 degrees for you, having a full view. I'm also seeing Spirit, too, help you with a challenge that you're facing currently, maybe even feeling like it's a wall that you can't scale without the added assistance. Make the choice confidently and do so from a basis connected with your moral beliefs. That's what's going to help you know what to do here. Because I'm seeing a decision that needs to be made, and the more confident you are that you are making the right decision and that this is truly in alignment with you, the more helpful this is going to be for you to actually just come out and do it. Action is needed on your part. For some of you, this is about a message. That's what this challenge has been about. Communicating something, answering something, reaching out. So let's break this down further. I'm seeing you walk away from one situation, and now there's another situation that you're finding yourself in where you may be like, that thing that I walked away from. This gives me the vibe of you having something that maybe was more fulfilling than you were giving credit to, and then moving into a space where it's like, because I moved away from this, or because I walked away from this, I feel like I lost that. Now remember, this is not a stated truth. This is just a space of feeling that is happening. It is not concrete. So that is to be noted as well. So whatever this was that you walked away from, there's this feeling of like, now, because I walked away from that thing, I even get the notion of thinking like the grass was greener on the other side. Now there's this sense of being like, I don't like this spot that I'm in. Maybe you went from something that you didn't like to something that you also don't like either. Whatever this is, there's this sense of you finding yourself in a spot where you were like, I moved away from this thing because I wasn't feeling fulfilled, looking for a sense of fulfillment, and I still feel like I'm not finding that. So what's going on here? But then I'm seeing you move very quickly out of this space. So even though for a moment in time you were feeling like disconnected, lonely, can be feeling like you don't have the resources that you need. Remember, resources don't just have to be money, also can be included in this. But at the bottom of it, there's a sense of feeling like you don't have the right type of support, or that you are wanting for it. And then I'm seeing you move very quickly, and there's a big decision that needs to be made. And I'm seeing this be a decision about stability, finances, resources, money, housing, things that provide a sense of security and safety. For some of you, there is a Taurus that is involved in this. There's a sense of wanting to use your better judgment when it comes to this, because you may not be seeing everything all at once, and zooming out is going to absolutely benefit you when it comes to making a decision that you feel confident about. I'm seeing something about a relationship as well, and then I'm seeing the Tower, where something spontaneously may have happened. It would have felt spontaneous when it happened, that's connected with you in a relationship. So something surprising happening where like you had been connected with someone at some point. It looks like it was remaining intact, and then the Tower comes through and something really changes things. Even obliterates it for some of you, I'm seeing, and there's a decision that needs to be made connected with it. Now, I'm seeing the Magician, I'm seeing the High Priestess. This is about speaking out, it's about manifesting, it's about communicating from a place that is fully intact with your intuition. With the High Priestess, it's the personification of your intuition, your empathy, your psychic abilities. I'm hearing also your otherworldly nature, and I'm seeing there be a message connected with this that is going to be of importance to you. And I'm also seeing that this is connected with a challenge that you're facing currently. Even feeling like something connected with this message, you may feel like there is a barrier that comes along with that. Even though this can absolutely be talking about you sending a message to someone within your life, or you receiving a message from someone physically within your life, I see this more than anything being you receiving a message from your higher self, you receiving a message from your intuition. And having the option of decoding that, but maybe feeling like there's a bit of a challenge in doing so. Because a full surrender, a full change is needed. I'm seeing a lot of Scorpio. I also see the High Priestess as representing the 12th house. So we have Pluto, Neptune, the Moon, Mars, Mercury, Taurus. Let's see what else. There's a lot here about like higher connection, spirituality, things like that I'm seeing as bigger themes here. Philosophies that we believe in. I'm seeing something about an offer here. There's something very significant about this message I'm seeing. Queen of Swords. You have to figure out what your boundaries are. It is definitely going to be helpful to you, Scorpio. Depending on where Scorpio falls in your chart, that is going to tell you where this is needed. For example, say your North Node or your MC is in Scorpio. This may have to do with your purpose. It may be something that you're doing at work. Let's say it is your Venus sign. This may really relate to your interpersonal relationships in general. Say Scorpio is your moon. This is going to have to do with emotional boundaries that are going to be important for you to be setting. Wherever there's Scorpio or Pluto within your chart, can be either or both. I guess some of you are interested in astrology. Okay, so when we talk about planets within your chart, or about celestial bodies or angles within your chart, all of the above and more, that is going to tell you like what it does. So say we're talking about Mars and you're looking and trying to figure out like what Mars means in your chart. It has so many meanings, so I'm going to like simplify this and know that it is not an exhaustive list. Mars represents, let's just pick one thing that Mars can represent. Mars can represent how you how you go into battle, how you confront people, okay? So say you get into a scuffle with somebody, it's going to tell you like what type of weapon you use, essentially. So Mars is the planet of aggression. It's about taking action. Par for the course, I'm hearing. And whatever sign it's in is kind of going to tell you the way that you go about doing that. So say you have your Mars in Cancer, the way that you may confront people may be more emotional, it may be more subtle, it may be less taking action, and can, even if it's in a shadow, be more passive aggressive, say. If you have a Mars in Aries, you're going to face things head on, face challenges head on, be a bit aggressive with it, be bold with it, stuff like that. So the sign that it's in is going to tell you like the flavor, the way that one goes about doing something. And the planet or the angle or the celestial body is going to tell you what the nature of that energy is doing. And the house that it's in is going to tell you about the area of life that that's occurring. I think that's all that's being asked. We can continue forward. Take your time. Take your time. This is a big change for you. I'm also hearing a big challenge for you when it comes to setting boundaries. See, the archetype of the Queen of Swords is somebody that is going to be opening themselves up to be receptive, and also somebody that is going to be filtering information, figuring out, like, if you get all of this information coming in, which of those things do you align with? Which of those things do you agree with? It's also about advocating for yourself. It's also about setting boundaries, saying what needs to be said. And being honest. And I'm seeing this be a big change that you're working through, a big transition that you're working through. And your guides are saying, take it slow, be patient with yourself. This is a very big, this can even feel like a life-altering change. Something that once you get further through this process, you look back at yourself at the beginning of this and be like, I felt like a completely different person, or my life felt completely different at that point in time because of the way that I had been doing things. I'm seeing an ending not look so painful anymore, although it had been very painful initially. I'm seeing you even start being released. This is a close interpersonal relationship that you had. I'm seeing the message be connected with that. I'm also seeing you doing a lot of reflecting about this ending. There's even a sense of wanting to undo something. This feels like more of a sense of wanting to heal from something. Things could have gotten, I'm hearing very blurred lines with this person. Very blurred lines with this person. This person that you had this ending with, for some of you, you're not talking to this person anymore. You reflecting on this would be something that you're keeping to yourself. I'm seeing this be something privately that you're doing. So other people that are around may not know that you've been thinking a lot about this, but I'm seeing something that's been heavily on your mind. For some of you, this is not just one ending. These are cycles that you're thinking about that were painful and things that did come to an end. And there is this sense of wanting this sense of alleviation even from these things, to heal, to reconcile. That doesn't necessarily mean connecting with another person, although it can be, but it's more so about your own process, your own healing process. Coming to terms with things. I'm also seeing some very heavy shadow work that you're doing as well. Very, very heavy shadow work. Things that you feel like have hindered you from pursuing your happiness. Whether these be conscious things, subconscious things, I'm seeing there be a lot of reflecting on this. I'm seeing it be connected with, like, the shadow. This can be chalked up to things that we are less consciously aware of, maladaptive coping skills, being deceptive with those around us, being deceptive with ourselves, not wanting to bring things to light, even ways that we sabotage our relationships, stuff like that. Can definitely span beyond relationships, but I'm seeing particularly here this is about relationships and trying to sort through and understand these things and why they have led you to the cycles that they've led you into. To experience, meaning what was I meant to learn from those things? Ooh, I'm seeing some very deep emotional stuff here, so that's what this is connected with. Shying away from being emotionally intimate, or feeling like you've been choosing partners that are shying away from being emotionally intimate. Even people that, this can be like manipulating from an emotional standpoint. It can speak about like being with partners that we know are being dishonest with us and still being like, I want to believe them, so I'm going to choose to believe them even when our intuition is telling us otherwise. Things like that. And can absolutely be a mix of all of those things too. But I'm seeing there be this focus on like dishonesty connected with like supposedly intimate emotional relationships. And this can also be doing things that we feel like go against our boundaries, things like that. Or like actively crossing other people's, all of that can always be reversed. There is a focus too on you mastering your Pluto energy, your Scorpio energy. The thing with like the Scorpio Pluto energy, when Scorpio Pluto is in its shadow, there's more of a sense of it can be a corruptive energy. It can be manipulating situations, taking advantage, being dishonest. It can be very power hungry too, but it's because of like not wanting to be controlled and feeling a lack of control and all of that. And it can also be like using intuitive abilities, using empathic abilities for things that are destructive and all of that. I'm hearing feeling beyond reproach. That may have been what one could have felt like. Yeah, I'm seeing stuff about taking advantage, or even feeling like you were on the other side of this. Maybe both also, because this always comes from somewhere. It's kind of like a domino effect. You could have felt like you were in experience with someone where, so Pluto is a very masterful energy. You could have felt like somebody that had some sort of power or control or authority over you, somebody that was like in a power position over you, had taken advantage of you in some way. And then this falls back into like your own patterns of like repeating that, sometimes that power play dynamic, and you kind of like switching around within the roles as a way of expressing this, as a way of trying to work it out for yourself. And something that would not be extinct, meaning a dynamic that would not be done being executed until the lesson has been learned, until what needed to be picked up and understood from this was completed. This would keep repeating, even subconsciously. So yeah, very heavy shadow work here. Very, very heavy. But now I'm seeing there be healing through awareness, and also really big healing on the emotional front. Feeling more connected with yourself, feeling more present, wanting to be present. And because I'm hearing, because you're waking up, because there's this sense of being present, of even feeling like this part of you that may have been untethered in a way or unbound is being connected back with you. There's this sense of feeling purpose that you may have felt you didn't have before. I saw 3000 on the time when I looked up. Understanding what you have and what you're meant to be doing with what you have, with your gifts, with your visions, with your purpose. Because of stepping into this space of not hiding any longer, of doing this shadow work where it brings all of who you are into a space of knowing rather than judgment, there's this sense of you understanding yourself in a way that you had been struggling to before because of not wanting to. Because for some of you, this may have been something very painful and you weren't ready for it yet. And now I'm seeing you be in a place where healing has become important to you. It's become a focus for you. And because of that, there's a sense of you discovering your purpose through that. Why you're here. I'm hearing, why am I here? And then knowing what to do about that. I'm seeing all of these, like even a collage, like all of these seemingly random and disconnected like memories and visions and pictures and situations, all of this somehow coming into this organized picture that you're looking at where it makes sense, like, oh, that's what I'm supposed to be doing here. Now I'm understanding. And there's this sense of even undoing through this system of seeing how these things are connected now. I'm seeing like all of this pain that is being, I'm seeing all of these like alternate healing methods that get energy to flow within the body. I'm seeing things with what does this look like to me? I'm seeing things like Reiki, I'm seeing stuff with pins. But it's all about the energy flow. I'm even hearing Tai Chi for some of you. This can be yoga, Hatha yoga. Many different things. But there may be something, you may be getting into alternative healing. I'm also hearing medicines. I'm seeing this just be the physical proponent, but I'm seeing this also be connected with like the spiritual work that you're doing as well. But for some of you, there's specific stuff that you're doing with your body too, I'm seeing. Because you could have been holding on to things. And now I'm seeing you complete the cycle. This has been, for some of you, 10 plus years, I'm seeing this be something very, very, a long, long time that this is connected with. Trying to understand something. And I'm seeing you feel so much more in control emotionally. In a space where you feel centered, in a space where you feel grounded. I will say this too. We start off with a focus on the Queen of Cups, which, like, when we first open our heart chakra in that way, there's this sense of this being a very overwhelming experience because it's like everything comes in and you can't really filter any of it out. It's about experiencing all of it, which can feel like a lot depending on like how much movement there was or wasn't. But I'm seeing this like really, really connect you and really center you and inform you on how you want to be taking action. And I'm also seeing that this has helped teach you how to be in the state of the archetype of the King of Cups. So the Queen of Cups feels everything. That is like what her main function is, to be connected and to lead from that space. And the King of Cups is like, okay, when I'm open to this whole emotional experience I'm having and I'm feeling everything, what am I doing about that? And what the King of Cups does is find equanimity within that space. And so this is about you finding that for yourself. This is also about not identifying and making emotions concrete as well. It's about becoming the observer in that way. Especially when you have things that come up, because for some of you, this can be thoughts, this can be impulses, it can be a ton of things that are connected with the Seven of Swords energy. It can be these these memories that you have, all of this stuff, and rather than feeling the need to react to these things, it's about just observing them and knowing that you don't need to do anything with it. Knowing that you can be the observer of these things, and that there is a place behind all of that for you to sit, where you actually are sitting already. It's just a matter of connecting with that. Accessing it. And now I'm seeing a new beginning for you. A brand new chapter. This seems like it's a little way off. Like it's not here yet, but this is what you're manifesting. This is where we're going. I'm looking at Scorpio, Aquarius, Sagittarius, Saturn, and Virgo. You stepping into this place where you are merging your Queen of Swords and your Queen of Cups energy, which is about being, I'm seeing it in this instance be about, because you're connecting with your emotions, which you need to be present to everything that you're feeling before you're going to be able to like realize and address what your boundaries are. This is about synthesizing those two energies. So it's about feeling everything, understanding it, and then recognizing like, hey, I feel good when this happens. Hey, this is crossing my boundary. And then you executing that communication, you advocating. This can also be connected with people around you as well. Can be. I see the Queen of Swords in general as an advocate, so. Can also be for your inner child. Whatever this is, there's a sense of advocating here, and this being connected with boundaries. What you do and what you don't accept. What's acceptable to you, what's not. How you want to be acting, how you don't want to be acting. Understanding the effect of your behavior as well. And I'm seeing a very big restorative movement and change that you are developing through with the Scorpio and the Aquarius energy here. This is a very significant moment in time within your human timeline that you're experiencing right now in this lifetime. And your guides are saying to be patient with yourself, because it seems like there's a lot, I keep getting the word undoing, and I see this as being a healing, because we can't technically undo the things that have happened, but I'm seeing this be like a reverse of certain things that have taken place. And this can even start with not repeating those things any longer that we had been doing before that had brought any sort of suffering either to ourselves and or those around us. This is about being in alignment with the highest good, and also recognizing the impact that our behaviors and decisions have on us and also the people around us, and how those are synonymous, essentially. I'm hearing do no harm. And I'm also seeing you recognize how much progress that you've made, too, on your shadow work journey that you've been on, leading up to this new chapter, leading up to this new beginning for you. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. Key point, major point, be careful, ride the waves that you are on, and know that everything is unfolding within divine timing. So if you are not at a place where you want to be yet, know that it is not time yet, but that you are getting there. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I want to thank everybody for connecting. I'm wishing everybody love and light and healing, and I hope to catch you guys next time.